Today, I am going to be talking about a new Netflix series called Vampires, produced in 2020 by Greg Wheeler, while doing my hair and makeup. This is a modern vampire show that takes place in 2020. It melts between the aesthetics and lore of sci-fi and traditional vampirism. It centers on a high school girl that is capable of not becoming a vampire through her mother's methods. Her rebellion lands her in an uncomfortable position that creates the plot of the story. There is an underlying love triangle that satisfies the romantic needs of today's vampire, but it is not the overarching issue at hand. This balance provides a tasteful amount of romantic and action entertainment. A lot of vampire media struggles to not be cringy, but this one pulls off the seriousness of a vampire's life flawlessly. The aesthetic choices in this show doesn't outweigh the concept, but rather aids it. There are Victorian influences in the more classic scenes of the show. There is a community of vampires that works hard to keep their identities safe. Since this community has been established for a long time, their taste is heavily influenced from Victorian and Edwardian styles. They modernize it by introducing odd colors, luxurious lighting techniques, as well as identifying where to put fine details and where to focus on simplistic elegance. Above all, they are fancy. For example, this scene of the villain's son in the bathroom is very much modern, but the decorative glass and extravagant shapes have a fanciness to them that we associate with the rich vampire. Because the main character's family has chosen to leave the community, they are living in less than ideal conditions. Their apartment is cheap, dirty, and in a bad location. Their apparel is classic mass-produced attire, bomber jackets, jeans, t-shirts, and leggings. The mother has knick-knacks that show her age and taste in collecting. Her vanity is fancy, and so is what she chooses to drink blood out of. She pours her blood into a silver container with a tap that she can then pour into other pretty containers. The older sister has micro bangs, piercings, and mainly wears darker clothing that puts her into the modern goth counterculture. She also references the 1920s when she wears her hair in a blonde finger wave wig. Vampirism isn't something that can be transmitted through bodily fluids or a drink-die-drink style like other vampires. It is like the hunger in that it is a genetic mutation. The difference is that this genetic mutation is passed through their bloodline. They aren't actually immoral, but they age so slowly that it seems they are. They also don't heal immediately, but at a more increased rate than humans. Drinking from another vampire's blood can help remedy them to heal faster. The main character is a special vampire that has traits that put her in line to be the next leader. For example, she can walk in the sun and heal other vampires extremely efficiently. This is all possible because she's a hybrid. This is why her mother was able to suppress her vampirism with daily medication. Her father was a human scientist that created the suppressants before he was allegedly murdered. Her brother stopped taking the pills and had no effects because he did not get the mutation. When she stopped, she immediately started transforming. The vampires have figured out that sunscreen and a bunch of clothing can allow them to be in the sunlight for short periods of time. When the community needs to execute a vampire, they throw them in the sun but booty out naked. Vampires are fairly fragile in this show because of their slow healing and the modern amount of eyes are on them. where they are family vampire production is slowed down much more than other vampire media, so it puts them at a disadvantage when it comes to protection. They can't kill people locally, so they mainly source animal blood and have deals with local meat butchers. It seems that some people in the human world are aware of vampirism, but they are highly trusted and threatened to keep their mouths shut. They also include vampire outcasts who are labeled blood junkies. They only live to eat and are put at the bottom of the vampire status chain. Overall, I highly recommend this 6-episode series. It is a cool story that doesn't drag on with eye candy of hot people and interesting cinematic choices. It is a great inspiration for modern Gothic home decor. Plus, who doesn't love listening to French? I was surprised when I ended up enjoying it so much, because it's hard to find a good vampire show. I'm disappointed that there doesn't seem to be another season coming out, because they set it up in an open-ended fashion. I have bonded with the characters and would like to know more about them. I think this show does a good job of reinventing and representing the perfect amount. I had no idea what I was getting into before I watched it, and I definitely wasn't going to guess a masked vampire family with conspiracies.